On to the next topic. Again, try not to keep too negative, but it is talking about a team that is very, very flawed and definitely needs some, I think, top to bottom changes, and that is the Atlanta Falcons losing to the Miami Dolphins 34-10. Pretty hilarious in itself. That is 3rd and 4, third in the NFC South, and it's a little bit of present day Falcons to past Falcons, I think, in a way. This one, because I was looking at it, and the last won their division in 2016, which was 9 years ago, which God makes us all feel pretty old, to be honest with you, and that was the last time they were in the playoffs as well. They've had 3 head coaches since then. Raheem Morris, he also then came in, I believe. He was in between as well. I think he covered Dan Quinn for a moment, and then Arthur Smith as well. And all 3 have not. Dan Quinn took them to the Super Bowl, the infamous New England Patriots Super Bowl, as we all know and we all see in history books. But really, for 9 years, this has been pretty poor by an organization. And I think they get away with it quite a lot. I mean, I went back and looked at their drafts as well. I've got all their drafts from 2019. I've got. And it makes for some terrible reading. Some terrible reading. And it's not just, like I said, we're not even just talking about now. Like, for the minute, this loss to the Dolphins, I mean, solidifies that this team is just not very good. And they just don't seem to know how to get it right at all. And I mean, Andrew, I can open the floor with you on this one, I suppose. I mean, are they not talked about enough in terms of like just a pretty bad organization, really?
Well, I think there's been a lot of hype and expectation for them for last year and then coming into this year especially. And I know you're sitting there saying they're just a bad team. They're awful. They're terrible. That's not it for me. I find them really confusing because they play games and then beat the Bills 24-14 and look like, hang on, you beat Washington, you beat Buffalo, you beat Minnesota. I'm thinking, is this a team that can actually, push for the playoffs and make a bit of noise in the playoffs? And then they lose to San Francisco and then get hammered by Miami. And I'm like, wait, this isn't the same team. I understand Penix was out and London was out, but I'm just not seeing the same team week to week. And I'm really confused by them. And it's the second year again, where I think by the end of the year, we're going to go, oh, there's some really nice things to take away. And there's some really good hype. And next year will be the year. And I just feel like I'm stuck in a situation where, is it going to be that every year where I'm just going, yeah, maybe it is. They've got, Drake London, Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, Penix looks good. Defense has improved dramatically this year. Oh, maybe. I'm confused by them. That's why I wanted to open this up. I wanted to talk about the Falcons this week because I'm really confused with whether they are good or whether they are bad.
Well, more to add to that. I mean, 30th best offense in the minute, 31st in passing touchdowns, but 10th best defense. They've actually, my biggest criticism always has been that you look at the names, Drake London, Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts. I mean, even some of their secondary guys are pretty decent. It's exciting, big name offense, but their defense really doesn't have any big names, apart from AJ Terrell, admittedly, and your man in the middle, the defensive tackle, who's a bit older. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. It's just completely escaped me. That's been always the thing, but I've been like, right, you need to improve it, you need to put effort in there. I mean, and they have done. They've invested in it, but I think they've invested in the wrong people, personally. And you're right. When you look at the stats there, it's confusing. Like, how have you suddenly got high-powered offense that seemingly most years can't stay healthy either? That is a big problem as well. They don't seem to be able to stay healthy. And this defense has not been good. And then this year, their defense seems to be pretty okay. But then the offense has been really bad. And again, we talk about the names there, but I've just said, Adam, like, how? How are they so unconvincing in one game and then terribly convincing in the next?
I don't know, really. They just are. It's just what they do.
Great analytical word.
I have very little to say regarding the Falcons. They are just one of these teams, aren't they, that are always stuck in the middle. They're stuck in the middle of drafts. They're they never really sort of go out and make a massive splash. They're just
but that's not
one
true.
of these
Look at
teams that
their
just sort of.
drafts are splashy. Look at this.
They moved back up into the first to get 2 edge rushers this year, didn't they?
You know,
Yeah, but that's just a stupid thing to do, isn't it?
Well,
I
got
mean,
their
this is what I suppose. This is probably where it boils down. Then, if you think about it, and where I think you were alluding to, Fred, it's like the draft picks are maybe not necessarily what they need. Sometimes it does feel a little bit like there's a lack of any sort of depth to their draft. It's like it's very much they normally have a good first round pick, and then the rest of it's all a bit like, who the hell's that player? Who's that player? Who's that player? You know, it's like when you look at the first rounds, you know, you do get an AJ Terrell and a Kyle Pitts and a Drake London.
But Kyle Pitts has been a terrible miss. Terrible miss.
Yeah, he hasn't been great, sort of thing.
He's been awful. For the hype,
Michael Penix.
This is not his fault at all, but for the hype he had, he's been awful. He's not been good at all. And I mean, you look at, I mean, I don't know the trades and stuff like that, but you know, they pick at 15 and they trade up to get the 26th pick. They picked at 8 when they got Penix. They picked at 8 when they got Bijan Robinson. They picked at 8 when they got Drake London. They picked at 4 when they got Kyle Pitts. They picked at 16 when they got AJ Terrell. Like, people say my Steelers are predictable.
Do you not think? I'm just sort of thinking they had Matt Ryan for a long time, didn't they? And it kind of felt like when they lost that Super Bowl against the Patriots, it did seem to take a long time for the Falcons to really sort of get over that. And he never kind of, like, he was then into the back end of his career, and you could tell that the sort of like the play sort of fell away a little bit. And it's kind of felt like they've really struggled to find a quarterback since then. And it's almost like they've been desperate to try and find one. And obviously they went for Michael Penix in 24. And in fairness, I think
shocked the world. Shocked.
Yeah. In fairness, I think he's got a good chance of actually being decent in the NFL. But yeah, it just kind of feels a little bit like the quarterback play hasn't been good for a very long time in with the Falcons. They kind of remind me a bit like the Colts. See, do you know what I mean? It's another team.
They're just one quarterback away every year, haven't they?
Yeah, but I think it just kind of feels like they're another team where they've got players, they've got decent weapons, they've got decent players on the defense. Not like amazing, but they do have players, and yet they just haven't been able to find the quarterback since peak Matt Ryan, and that kind of feels a bit like that's where they've been going wrong.
Do we think they got the Raheem Morris hire correct? You know, he came in, he hired the biggest coaching staff you could think of, and when he was interviewed, they asked him about it, and he said, "Oh, well, we're going to win. We're going to be great. We're going to win. People are going to take all my coordinators, and I've got coaching staff in the waiting to come through." Now, I know we've said we like Zach Robinson as offensive coordinator, Jeff Ulbricht's defensive coordinator. It's a good coaching staff, but did they miss on Raheem Morris, who you've had the Kirk Cousins saga with Penix, and I do feel like at times this team looks like it could be really, really good. So is that where they've missed?
I think part of it goes back to what is a massive thing on this podcast, is that a defensive-minded head coach can't develop a young rookie quarterback. And I agree. And it's your two's argument. You're the two that have pounded the table for this for the longest time. And I buy into that completely. I completely buy into that. I think
Raheem Morris has done both, hasn't he? He's a both, isn't he? He's been a wide receiver coach, hasn't he? And hasn't he done passing game? He's done both, hasn't he? He's done.
Well, again, master of many, was it the master of many, trade of none sort of thing, whatever it is.
Everything. Oh yeah, no, for the Falcons in 2016-19, he was assistant head coach, wide receivers coach.
Wide receiver coach, though. Can we just add?
Yeah, and offensive pass game coordinator.
Yeah, I knew he'd come from both. Bit of an anomaly, but
he did get to work with Matt Ryan, who was considered pretty elite in his day.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan was considered one of the top 5 best quarterbacks in the league at one given point.
He was head coach for the Bucs, obviously back in 2009 to 2011. It didn't really work very well.
He was too young, wasn't he? He had a bit attitude problems, didn't he?
Yeah, so there is that. I will, as Fred said, I've been banging on about it for years. I hate the idea of a defensive coach being there. And the first thing you do is you bring in a rookie quarterback, and you just go, well, that's not going to work because you lose your OC. They did, didn't they? Who was their OC in 2024? I can't remember. It wasn't Robinson, was it?
Testing my knowledge now.
I can't remember. But anyway, it's that thing where it's like I feel it doesn't work. I've never felt it works. As soon as you get a good OC, you end up losing them, and it's a nightmare to try and replace them. And at the beginning of the season, we did come out and say, didn't we? Like, well, not at the beginning of the season, but when we were talking about who was on the hot seat and stuff like that, and it was a little bit like, well, if the Falcons don't sort themselves out, then Morris is going to be someone who could potentially be on the hot seat. And I don't know. I don't know what it is about the Falcons. They try all this stuff, but there's just nothing exciting about them. Sorry, Falcons fans.
I mean, could you lay blame a little bit at their GM as well? I just had his name a second ago, Terry Fontenot. He's been there since 2021, and again, you look at that. Like I said, talking about their draft. I mean, there's a lot of misses. Like, there's not misses and there is misses all at the same time, I suppose. Yeah, Carl Pitts, miss. Richie Grant, all right. Jalen Mayfield, miss. I mean, Drake London, fantastic. Arnold Ebiketie, never been really dominant. Troy Anderson's been okay. Desmond Ridder, no. Tyler Algier was a great pick in the 5th round. Bijan Robinson, obviously incredible. Matthew Bergeron, all right. Clark Phillips, all right. Michael Penix, I still think we don't really know just yet what we are going to get from him. He's an older rookie as well, isn't he?
I'm not going to let you stop there. You say the name of the guy who was the 2nd round pick in 2024. Come on.
Ruka
Rororo. Yeah, he's brilliant, Ruka Rororo.
We had to cover that on the draft show.
I just think that for someone who supports an organization where I'm desperate for a shake-up, gosh, the Falcons must be ready for a shake-up as well.
But I don't know what you do. They're a weird team. They're an odd team that's stuck in the middle.
But it has the potential to really make some noise, I reckon. I think it had
every team in the middle has potential to make noise, doesn't it? And they never do. They're just one of them where they're just, I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm not very good on this topic. I just don't have a lot to say about them. They're kind of they're just meh.
Do you think they've got any chance of getting in the playoffs?
No.
How many more wins can they get? What are they currently?
I mean, they're at the Patriots. They're at the Colts. They've had their bye week, bye week 5.
What are they? What's their record?
Their record at the minute is 3-4, and they're at the Patriots, at the Colts, hosting the Panthers, at the Saints, at the Jets, hosting the Seahawks, at the Buccaneers, at the Cardinals, hosting the Rams, hosting the Saints.
They can get to 9 at the most.
You're that confident they get to 9?
I think they could beat Carolina, New Orleans, New York.
I've got 8 and
Arizona,
9.
and the Saints again. That's 5. They've already got 3 wins. That's 8, and that just depends whether they can catch a win against, maybe at Tampa later on or Seattle later on. Maybe that's what I mean. You don't know what you're going to get with this. They went out and destroyed Buffalo convincingly, and it was a Buffalo team that it had some issues on defense, but it didn't have players out on the offense, and we thought they'd go out and beat everyone. So I can't write them off in some of those bigger games either, against the Seattle and Tampa. Maybe
they're not going to lose twice to the Saints. It's Tyler Shook season, B.
They're 8-9, 9-8, stuck in the middle, doing nothing. That could be a little banner for them. There you go.
Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. That's what they should come
out with Michael Penix, but yeah.
Well, I'm definitely in for Tyler Shook season with the Saints. That's the games I'm going to keep an eye on. I've got him in fantasy, and he's going to do well. I know he is. I believe in him.